How y'all doing? Welcome back. We missed you all.
We really did. We really did miss you all. It has been feel like a pretty long break for us. How has it been? Like 2 or 3 months, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we are so happy to be back. We'll give a few minutes to get some more people in the room so we can see who's all in here. Just so y'all know, if you're already logged on, feel free to put yourself in the comments. We want to see who's here so we can properly shout you out as always. We'll give y'all a few minutes to do so. But anyway, Lakesha, how have things been going with you?
I really can't complain because for the most part, everything's been going good as usual. Work, and more work. What about yourself?
The same. I actually took some time off yesterday. I took a, personal day, a me day. And that was so good to be able to do that. I really enjoyed it, just to be able to recharge and refresh, even though it was just for a day, but it just gave me a long weekend. So I was happy about that.
Most definitely. Self-care is the best care. I feel like if we give so much time and energy to, our jobs, families, there may be people out there who have kids and have spouses, or you're taking care, of a loved one. So anytime that you get the opportunity to pour back into yourself, I say do so.
Yeah, and I think you did that this weekend too, right? You took.
I did. Yeah, I was supposed to go out of town, and I decided at the last moment that, hey, I'm just gonna have some time for me. I'm gonna sit around in my PJs and watch Lifetime movies, and all of that good stuff. And I had a good time, and my body needed it as well. I didn't realize just how tired I was, so it felt good. Coming Monday morning, I felt rejuvenated. I was like ready to go. Kind of felt like I was ready to jump back into a boxing ring. Not necessarily to battle and fight, in a negative sense, but like right. I'm ready for whatever that this week holds, whether it's good, bad, or positive.
That's true. And I think that's the great attitude to have. So, you kind of I kind of look at it as like you just roll with the punches, if you will. Whatever happens, it happens.
Yeah.
So I believe in that. Okay, so we got some people coming in the chat. What's up, y'all? Hello, everyone.
And hey to the new baby, Kaden. Yay! Congratulations, Tiffany, on your new bundle of joy.
Yes, Kaden, my nephew. So excited. So excited. He is every spit of his mother. I mean, it's just crazy how much he looks like his mother.
So that's Tiffany's twin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. So, do we want to go ahead and get started?
Let's get started.
Before we do, okay. I don't know if y'all actually saw our intro, but we actually have an intro now and a theme song. Hopefully y'all saw it. If not, you can catch it on the playback, and that's fine too. And I want to give a shout out to the person who did our intro. His name is Damon Llewellyn. Yeah. He did the thing with the intro. So we are here for this. He really did his thing. He basically took our vision, what we wanted, and just put his little spin on it, and we have what we have. So just make sure that you all check out the intro.
And should you have any needs as far as like graphic design and things of that nature, check him out. I mean, he was very, very reasonable with working with us. And like Shnequia said, he took our vision and catapulted that thing. I mean, there are things that we didn't even necessarily tell him, and he brought to life. I love the fact, Shnequia, that Damon put in there. There's a clip of the Atlanta skyline because that's where you currently live. But he also put a picture of Tallahassee's skyline as well. And that was something I didn't even think about until the last minute. But then when he submitted the package to us. I'm like, oh my God, like he totally read my mind. So kudos to you, Damon. You did that. You did that.
Yeah. So if you're watching and you're listening, Damon, we are giving you props because you deserve it. And also, he is part of a podcast too called Random Side Note. Their podcast is awesome, very entertaining. I think their season premiere is coming up soon. I think March 16th, I believe. So check them out too on all major podcast platforms as well. It's called Random Side Note Podcast. All right, then. So now you want to go ahead and get started?
Let's get started, cuz let's
keep going. So even though we have been gone for a few months, a lot has happened while we was gone. We got a new president.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for that. If you're supporter, I'm sorry, but you know, we glad that we got a new. Well, I'm glad we got a new president over here. We also the COVID vaccines are now available. I know people have, you know, their opinions on whether or not they want to take it or whatever. And that's fine if you do. I actually did take the first shot of the COVID vaccine last week. I took the Moderna one, and as you can see, I'm fine. I did have a sore arm for a few days, but other than that, everything was fine. And I take the second dose next month.
Okay.
So that's what's been going on with me.
Now, I have yet to take the vaccine. It was offered to me because I am a part-time healthcare worker, but I declined as of presently because I'm still conducting my research, talking to doctors about the pros and cons and things of that nature. So maybe towards the end of the year, I may be a little bit more ready to dive into COVID vaccination land, but as of right now, I'm still kind of still leery.
And that's fine that you say that because I actually was the same way. Like it took me quite a while to get on board because I was one of those people like I ain't doing that. But then after I kind of did my own research and not necessarily listen to what people were saying, and kind of paying attention to what the medical experts were saying. And so that's what made me decide to do it. And also because my parents, they took it too, because they just recently had their first dose last week as well. And so, and I just felt like if I could do anything that can kind of help to bring the country back to some sense of normalcy, whatever that's going to look like, you know, I'll go ahead and do that. So.
Like I will continue masking and wearing gloves and using plenty of hand sanitizer and all of that good stuff. My father and my grandmother, they were administered their first shot. I want to say to Shnequia. I want to say about last week or probably within the past 2 weeks or so. No side effects whatsoever. My grandmother's in her 80s. She's doing fine. And things of that nature. So we're just waiting out for that next group, that rollout for that next target group to roll out. And hopefully my mom, she'll be in that group where she'll be able to get hers.
That's good. So COVID vaccine. There was also, well, this was kind of most recently, Kim and Kanye officially filed for divorce. That wasn't a surprise. That was heartbreaking to you?
For me, because at the end of the day, I'm a proponent for families. Of course, none of us, know what goes on behind closed doors in people's families. But I just feel like the divorce rate is so sky high, not only with celebrities, but it's just running rampant throughout our country, throughout our land, throughout our communities and things of that nature. So my heart goes out to the two of them. I really, really do wish them well. And I hope that they're able to come to some type of consensus when it comes to co-parenting their children.
Yeah. Well, I think so too. But like I said, I wasn't necessarily surprised that they were filing for divorce because I think I was reading something about they were saying that the turning point for Kim was when Kanye had ran for president. So, and that combined with his own personal mental health issues that he already had, I figured that it was only going to be a matter of time. But like you said, I just hope that they're able to be amicable and it is going to be good for the children to split and that they have joint custody and things like that. And I think that's what they're aiming for. And that they both had prenups and they're trying to make sure that they honor that. So
yeah,
so that's good.
Well, let me ask you, how do you feel about schools reopening? Because that's been a hot topic. That's been out in the political arena from quite some time. And now with the vaccine being out, also data that the younger kids are not necessarily that affected by COVID like they first thought them to be. And so we have a lot of individuals in the educational arena that are pushing for our pre-K through 12th grade schools, districts and things of that nature to reopen. As we all know, for the most part, our higher ed institutions, although they do continue to conduct some of their, instruction online, they also have gone back in some sense to on campus as well. So what are your feelings about schools reopening for our little ones, our preteens, as well as our teenagers?
Well, for me, I get why they want to go ahead and reopen it because, they want to give the children a sense of normalcy and to be able to interact and socialize with their peers and also to give, the parents a break. Because I know the parents was having a little bit of, difficulty adjusting to being the teacher and being at home with their children and things like that. But I'm all for it if it's safe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like for the state of Georgia, I don't know how it is in Florida, but there was a really big issue about the teachers not being in the phase 1 criteria for getting vaccinated. So a lot of them were going to Alabama to get the vaccine.
Wow.
And I know that I can't remember the name of the lady, but it's the lady who she's kind of like the Dr. Fauci for Georgia.
Okay.
But anyway, she was basically saying that that she didn't think it was a good idea for Georgia teachers to do that, to go to Alabama, primarily because it throws off their numbers and their data and things like that. But if you're not making the teachers a priority here in Georgia, they're going to go.
That's correct.
The vaccine. So, but I did read that within the next, I think maybe month or so, something like that, that they were going to go ahead and do the phase 2 and have the teachers and the educators be a part of that too here in Georgia. Because I do know that they want the kids to go back to school.
That's good.
Yeah. How you feel about it?
I mean, being an educator myself, to me, I didn't understand why educators were left out. Just like the healthcare workers, they should have been in the first group from the start. I mean, at the end of the day, they're teaching children, especially those who are teaching younger children. Younger children, they're still learning, they're still growing, they're still developing. So germs are easily spread, amongst those, who attend daycares and those in your, elementary school levels and things like that. And even amongst the middle and high schoolers. I mean, you think about how many times throughout the day do you touch, a doorknob in a school, or, you're touching pencils, you're touching notebook paper, that type of thing. So I hope not only just for Georgia, Florida, just for the entire nation, that they do consider, our teachers, especially those who have gone back to the brick and mortar institutions, that they consider them regardless of age, regardless of what's going on with them from a health standpoint of view. If they want the vaccine, to me, they should have access to it.
Yeah. So our comments are popping. I want to go ahead and acknowledge a few. Okay, so we got our classmate Audrey. Hi, Audrey. Shout out to
you. Thank you, Audrey.
You both look so beautiful and are such naturals on camera. I'm so glad y'all are back. Oh, thank you, sweetie. We really appreciate that. And then got Gwen, just another friend to the show. She said, my county is back. We are hybrid. Kids are either all virtual or 2 days face-to-face. We're 3 days virtual. I know a teacher who went to Alabama and got it open. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm all for it. I just want the students to be safe.
Right.
It to be safe as well.
Right.
So another thing that happened over the break, T.I. and Tiny. This whole situation.
Dun, dun, dun.
How you feel about that?
Oh, hey, like the law said, what you're innocent until proven. You're innocent to proven guilty. So, I mean, just like any other American citizen, they deserve their day in court and things of that nature. For the individuals who are involved, I really hope and pray that that they get the assistance and help that they need. And also Tiny and T.I., it's time out for foolishness. Like I said, we don't necessarily know what went down, but if something did, I mean, we're getting older. The things that we used to do, the games that we used to play, the way the moves we used to make, in our teens and 20s. Not necessarily saying that you can't do that, but you gotta think this thing all the way through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes, we get so complacent, we get so comfortable with where we are and what we're doing that time has a way of catching up, with all of us. So I just hope for their sake that, it's not true. And, if so, my heart, my prayers goes out to them and their families, because, it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah, and I feel the same way too, because there was a lot of victims that came out and basically were making these accusations about them. So like I said, we don't know the whole story. So we'll just have to, I guess, kind of wait to see how the story unfolds or whatever as we get more information. But I do know that the production on their reality show has been temporarily shut down.
I saw that.
Until they do further investigation. So
yeah, and my heart not only broke for them from that context. That show had other individuals involved. Like I love seeing them interact with Monica. I love the interaction with Toya and Red and her family. So it was so many other individuals, LaToya Luckett, and so on and so forth. So it's just really an unfortunate event, and hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll have more details, and all involved parties can find a way, to move on, with their lives. But going through something like that, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine being in their shoes, and like I said, what they're having to face on a day-to-day challenge.
Right. So prayers to the victims involved, and just like I said, whatever happens, we'll find out more information, and we can just kind of go from there in terms of what really happened, what didn't happen, whatever. So yeah, that, and then all these social media challenges that's been going on. It's just been funny. You got the Busted challenge, you got the June bug challenge, you got what's some more? Silhouette, like
silhouette challenge.
Yeah, so many different ones. So
yes.
Would you do a challenge?
If I had a husband.
You don't have to have a husband to do a challenge.
He the only one gonna see my silhouette. So no.
Well, I'm not talking about just the silhouette challenge. I'm talking about any of the other different types of challenges.
I'm not busting it. Like I said, if I had a husband, I'll bust it for him, silhouette for him, but no. Now I have been seeing people. I take that back with the busted challenge because I've been seeing people who've been putting their own tweak on it. So I've seen. I think yesterday I was watching a video on TikTok. Normally just dress dude, that type of thing, and then when he did his busted challenge, he bust into his police officer uniform. Very, nice looking, very attractive men. So I've seen them doing from police officers to their military gear. I've seen doctors participate in the busted challenge. I've seen college graduates, so students getting ready to graduate from college and things of that nature. They busting it down in their cap and gown. So stuff like that, I'm all for that. But all the rest of that stuff, like I said, I'm not hating on nobody. They do what they do. But as far as me, I have to keep that behind closed doors between me and my future husband when he comes along. What about you? Did you participate in any of them?
To be honest with you, I don't really be caring for a lot of these challenges. I probably at some point would probably do that little June bug because all they doing is doing that little same little movement or whatever. See, that ain't too much for me to like remember to do. Like I can do the movement and that's it. But the silhouette, I don't know. The busted challenge, no, I wouldn't do that one. But and there's also one called the I'm So Pretty one where they be hitting the little phone and stuff. Like, have you seen that one?
I've seen that one too.
Yeah, so I probably would do that one.
Okay. All right.
Anybody that's watching, and you can put in the comments if y'all would do a challenge too and let us know. We'll shout y'all.
Not only would you do a challenge, have you participated?
Oh yeah, have you participated
thus far? Yeah. And
don't be shy, everyone. Y'all can let us know. No judgment here. No judgment on here. That's all right. Well, while y'all marinate on that, we'll go ahead and move on. So, anything else in hot topic current events before we move on?
Also, I would say that we need to continue to keep the state of Texas in our prayers. As we all know, Texas has been hit hard by these frigid temperatures. The images that I'm just seeing across social media, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikToks. I mean, my heart really goes out to some of them are really making the best of the situation that they can. I've seen some very positive, very uplifting videos, individuals in the community across the United States, partnering, collaborating with one another to give back to the state of Texas. I'm in awe of the ice, the icicles and things of that nature, the images that I've seen that people have been taking, kids playing in the snow, but also, I mean, people have lost their lives. There's been, several, if not hundreds of deaths of people, freezing from hypothermia and things like that. People losing houses because, pipes are bursting and things like that. There's no electricity. The power comes, it goes, it's on one day, it's off the next day, and so on and so forth. So I would definitely say we need to keep them in prayers just because we are in a region where that could very well at any time happen to us. And what it brought me back to Shnequia, do you remember when Atlanta had that big
snowmageddon back in what, 2014?
Yeah.
No, not 2014. Was it 2014?
I can't remember.
2014. Atlanta, if you would put in the comment if y'all know which year it was. I think it was like 2014, but yeah, what were you gonna say about it?
But that's what it reminded me of when when Atlanta went through that snowstorm. Not as Southerners, we're not necessarily prepared for stuff like that. We reside in a region, for the most part, it's hot. We usually have, subtropical type temperatures down here. So, I mean, now to be facing, I know one of the influencers I follow on YouTube, him and his wife was saying like one day it was like negative 13 degrees in Houston. Like, I wouldn't know how to deal with that type of weather. We lose our minds over here in Georgia and Florida and Carolina when it get like 40 and 50. So for it to get that cold, like I said, my heart really goes out to them.
Carrie said it was 2014.
It was 2014.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Carrie.
For that. Oh, I just want to acknowledge Tiffany real quick. She said, I don't even TikTok for child.
Tiffany, you got to get on TikTok, girl. You are missing it.
Lakeisha, you have a TikTok? I didn't know you had one.
Now, of course, y'all know I work with high school students. So you got to keep up with the young people. You gotta stay in the know with what the young people own and things of that nature. So at first I was kind of resistant, like, that's for y'all generation. But there are really some great videos that are on TikTok. Not all of them are silly and, just doing crazy and disturbing stuff. There's a lot of inspirational stuff. There are people on there doing hacks, DIYs, of course, hair. So if you love your good wig, things of that nature, they have that on there. So any really type of thing that you can think of, they probably have it on TikTok. I follow a lot of influencers that are making like inspirational content, whether they're singing, they're dancing, they're reciting poetry, that type of thing. So for me, I use it as another means to uplift me and keep me in a positive headspace.
Okay. I don't know. For me, I just try to keep my limit on social media platforms. Like, I have my Facebook, my Instagram, and a LinkedIn, and that's it. Like, I don't have a Twitter. I don't do Snapchat, if that's still a thing, because I haven't heard people talk about Snapchat anymore. And I also don't have a TikTok. So, but I mean, I see the TikTok videos all the time on my timeline on Facebook, and I have people that send me videos from TikTok, and I mean, they're funny, they're very entertaining. So, but I don't know if I would actually create a TikTok account right now. So,
and like I said, you can have a TikTok. Like I have an account, but I haven't created any type of content. So mostly my account, I'm just following people. I follow people, and of course, just like any other social media platform, the influencer that you follow, they'll pop up and let you know, like such and such has posted a new video and things of that nature. But I've learned like quite a number of stuff. Like, listen to this. Did you all know? I watched a TikTok video the other day that you can make mashed potatoes from Lay's potato chips.
Really?
There's a TikTok video out there, and I thought that I'm like, this is, you really stretch and you exaggerate. But I tried it.
Well, mashed potatoes. Well,
mashed potatoes out of potato chips. Yes.
So it's any type of potato chips. Like, it don't have to be.
No, I don't know if it's any type of potato chips. He used Lay's, so that's what Keisha went out to the store and purchased, just to see if it would work, and it did. They tasted awesome. They tasted great. So like I said, you can also use it, like I said, to learn, to educate yourself, or like I said, you just need a good laugh. TikTok got plenty of those types of videos. So if you all haven't delved into the world of TikTok, you may want to try it. Give it a try, just like anything else, and see. And if not, you can always delete it.
Well, Gwen say that she watches. She said,
I don't
know what she doing now. Hold on, let me stop saying that. I don't know what she's doing now. She just said you can watch great videos. There are praise videos, cooking, being silly, really anything you're interested in. You don't have to post anything. You can just be a viewer.
Thank you, Gwen. That's what I am. I'm a viewer. I don't have not the first TikTok.
I'm assuming that means that you watch Gwen, but if not, that's fine too. Carrie said, she said, you trying. Oh no,
you gotta give it a try. I'm telling y'all, it really is. It's addicting. You would probably say the same thing like me. Like, no, I'm telling you, I downloaded the app and I stayed up probably to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning watching videos. And a lot of the videos I was watching was like Gwen mentioned, they were inspirational videos, but these people are good at what it is that they do. And a lot of these TikToks, y'all, they are so powerful. I'm telling you, give it a try. Watch one. I'm telling you, it may change your life. It may change your life. You never know.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. And everybody because I don't know if I'm gonna be on there no time soon. But Gwen did say that she watches.
Good.
Yeah. Speaking, okay, one more thing and then we'll move on. Clubhouse. Okay. For all the iPhone users and Apple users, y'all got Clubhouse. I'm a little salty because they won't put Android users on there yet, but that's okay. Because I feel like at some point, Android either gonna create something just exclusively for us and Apple users can't use it, or we'll finally be able to be on Clubhouse, but then by then it won't be popping no more. So whatever. But from the people that I know that are on it, they said that it's good and it's useful and good marketing tool and things like that. So kudos to everybody who's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that Tabitha Brown has a TikTok.
See?
I follow her.
Yes. And she has some really creative, very interesting takes on. Gwen, tell me if I'm correct. Is she vegetarian or vegan?
She's vegan.
She's vegan. Okay.
Yeah, she's vegan.
Oh,
okay. You know what? I already know
who the shade.
Okay, Dre, being petty. Well, I don't want an Apple. You gonna buy my Apple product? I'm still good with my Android. Okay, so carry on. Off the screen for you. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, whatever have you. All right, so moving on. So we've caught up on everything that's been going on since our hiatus, but this is a new year, 2021. Some people might say this is 2020 plus one or 2020 the sequel, because it was a little shaky with how stuff has been starting off. But how has your new year been going so far, Keisha?
I really can't complain. So far, 2021 is going good for me. Like I said, I really don't have no complaints. What about yourself?
I actually don't have any complaints either. I'm glad it's a new year because last year was very rough for me.
Yeah.
Emotionally. But yeah, I'm just ready to continue to dive into this new year and things like that. Gwen, I'm sorry. Don't. Again, I'm gonna
Team Android over here.
Okay,
we are Android for life.
Yeah. So anyway, that just kind of caught me off guard. Okay. So anyway, with the new year, you know how people make New Year resolutions and New Year's goals and things like that. Do you do one? Do you do resolutions and goals for the new year?
To be honest with you, Shnequia, I used to be very, very big with regards to creating goals. My problem was the follow through, depending upon what the goal was. If it was something I was very much passionate about, I had no problem following through with it. But if it was something I could kind of manipulate my way out or give excuses as to why I'm getting ready to do X, Y, and Z, 9 out of 10 times I wasn't able to stick with it. And so probably in the last, I would say 2 to 3 years, I have not created any New Year's goals, resolutions, whatever that you want to call it. My mantra every year when the new year comes around is to be the best version of myself that I can be. That's something I've been saying for the past 2 or 3 years. But like I said, as far as any concrete, I'm I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. For me, I found that's personally for me, it wasn't working. What about yourself?
I like that, and I think you make a good point. For me, I never was big on resolutions anyway. I always would try to set New Year goals, because people think resolution and goals are the same thing, but they're really not. They're different. Because resolutions is more like a promise that you're gonna set for yourself. Whereas a goal is basically having plans of action and things that you're going to use to get towards whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So, and I know, like, whenever I tried to set resolutions before, I used to feel really bad if I didn't follow through with them. Like, I may set a resolution for, like, oh, well, I'm going to eat healthier. And then the next week, I'm eating like a whole bunch of cookies and candy and ice cream and stuff like that, so, and then I felt bad. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't accomplish what I wanted to. But so I just got in the habit of just setting goals for myself, because I feel like that's more achievable for me, especially if they're realistic. And also, it helps me to be able to develop a plan of action better. One thing that has helped me that I just started doing last year was a vision board. I just got into the idea of doing a vision board last year, and I did do one this year too. And I feel like that's helpful for me because, for one, it was very fun to make because I made it with a friend of mine. But then also the fact that it gives me a visual on the things that I want to set for myself this year or want to achieve. And even if I don't achieve everything that's on the vision board, at least if I had just one or two things, or was making plans to either set the goal or whatever it is I set for myself, then that's good too. So I really like vision boards.
Oh yeah. And something that I've started doing as well is, instead of creating all these long-term goals, which depend upon what the goal is, it could take several weeks, that could take several months, several years. I've started to, I guess, break down or process my life into different phases. So for the past, I said, several months, I've been working on personal development, whether that be spiritual, whether that be emotional or mental in context. Now, for the next several months, I've set some small goals for myself from January up into July. There are some career things that I want to see evolve, I want to see come about. And so I've set small steps or plans into action to see those things come into fruition. So like I said, for me, I do better with smaller, actionable goals compared to long-term goals that are down the way. Not saying that I'm bad at reaching them, but if it's something that's not necessarily a priority and I can put on a back burner and I can give more of my time, my attention, my effort to this smaller goal, which will eventually produce results for the bigger one, then that's what I'm all about now. I used to be that type of person. It was quantity over quality. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in a different phase of my life where I want things to be more of quality versus I'm doing just a whole lot of stuff just to be doing it, or I can tick off or say that I did this. No, I'd rather do a few small things and do them well and be great at what I'm doing versus doing a whole bunch of things and my head is just round here spinning. But when I talk to you, I got a good talk game and I can sit up here and say I've done this, that, and the third, but it's running me raggedy, it's running me dry.
Agreed. So true. So our insightful gang that's watching, let us know in the comments if you all set resolutions and goals, or if you don't. Or like, what are some things that you do to kind of help you to be able to achieve your goals? You can let us know. And we'll acknowledge you.
Shnequia, I wanted to ask you, with your vision board, because I know you said that you created it with a friend. So did you create it like with poster board and things of that nature? Did you all do it in a virtual type of space where you used a platform like Canva or Adobe Spark? How did you go about creating your vision board?
Sure. So, well, because the same friend that I did the vision board with this year, we did one together last year. So last year we actually met in person and we created the vision board like on poster board and things like that. She did hers and I did mine. And then this year, we did it virtually. We were on Zoom, and we did still do the poster board and put out the pictures, stuff like that out of magazines. So it just was a different experience because I didn't get a chance to actually be in her presence to do it with her, but it was still fun nonetheless because we were, cheering each other on and we were talking about what our vision board meant and, all this stuff like that. So it was fun to do it. I've never done the virtual ones though.
So this was your first time doing one?
No, second year. Second year. First year I did it was last year. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's helpful for me. I like it. And it's something easy to do because I'm not the most creative, artistic person, but I can like cut pictures, out of the magazine and cut words out and put them on poster board and glue them. I mean, I can do that.
Most definitely.
That's easy for me. Okay. What else in terms of New Year goals, resolutions?
What is your, well, I will say when it comes to goals, I do believe that there's a such thing as good versus bad goals. And what I mean by that, when I think of like a good goal, I think good goals, great goals, they're defined. Just like you spoke, Shnequia, earlier, there's actionable steps that you can clearly see. Your pathway is clear and things of that nature versus the opposite end. A bad goal has a tendency, it can be fluid. It can be easily manipulated and things of that nature. So like, I know you spoke about the candies and cookies, and I think a lot of people, coming on to the new year, especially we've been in quarantine, going on a year. So just from a health perspective, I'm pretty sure, some of us have put on some quarantine pounds and things of that nature. And we strive to do better when it comes to exercising, and we strive to do better when it comes to what we're eating. But once again, you have to know yourself. What works for one person may not necessarily work for the next person. So you may set a goal like I'm gonna cut out chocolate altogether. To me, that's an example of a bad goal because there's no clear defined, steps within that. You can easily get detoured very easily from that. And then if you have what I like to call an accountability partner, which is another good thing to have when you set, whether you set short or long-term goals, if that person calls you to the carpet, on your behavior, a lot of times we have a tendency, to get into our feelings. We get defensive and, at the end of the day, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And so it's kind of like if you're not going to follow through on it, then why did you create the goal, to begin with? So I think that's another thing that we have to go back to, being cognizant of our mindsets and why we want to do what it is that we want to do. If it's not something that you see yourself sticking with, then there's nothing wrong with, like I said, putting that on the back burner and working on something that that you can manage. That's something that's achievable for you and only you. You're not in competition with everybody else. A lot of people think that, but at the end of the day, your biggest competition is yourself.
Yes, that's true. You said a word there. And I was just thinking, I know like what helps me in terms of whenever I set goals, I like to visualize myself like accomplishing that goal. Manifestation, if you will. Like I'm really big on that. And I think when you're able to do that, which is why I like vision boards so much, because like I'm able to actually visualize me accomplishing this and like what it would be like. Kind of like I can just, taste it almost. Yeah. And to me, when you're able to really manifest what it is that you want, it's just so powerful and empowering to do that. Because I really feel like, I don't know, it just gives me the opportunity to know like I can do anything that I set my mind to. I know that's so cliche for people to say that, but that's really how I feel when I look at like just really visualizing my goal. And I like what you said about having an accountability partner as well, because I think a lot of people feel like they have to do it themselves or whatever. But you know, it's good to be able to have someone there with you that can help you to kind of, you know, achieve what your goal is, but also you can help them in return. So it's kind of like you're working with each other. So it's very important to surround yourself with people who are either living the kind of life that you want or has already achieved the type of goals that you want. I think that's good to do that, which is not to negate and say that you have to completely leave your old friends behind, but there's nothing wrong with being able to, you know, be able to kind of interact with other people.
Most definitely. And having an accountability partner, I was just talking about this with my students in a workshop, because some of them saw it as a sign of weakness. You know, Miss Brown, me sitting up here basically telling another individual that, hey, I have shortcomings or I'm weak and in a certain area. And like I was telling some of my students this week, it really has nothing to do with weakness. If you think about it, you're really coming from a place of strength. And where there is strength, baby, there is growth. Yeah, it's going to challenge you. It's going to push you. It's going to at times make you feel uncomfortable. These individuals, you know, at times are going to say things that are not pleasing. And it may get you up in your feelings, but you got to understand at the end of the day, they're there to push you into greatness. Greatness comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we think about all of these people, whether they be celebrities, they be hometown heroes, our families, even if we think about some of the things we've just been able to achieve ourselves, none of that came easy. It was always a process in which we had to go through. And if you look back on it, like I said, it had nothing to do with weakness. It had nothing to do with your shortcomings, but it had everything to do, you're coming from a place of strength, a place of growth. Because like I stated before, you sit up there and you lounge in complacency, you're not really going to get anything necessarily out of it. You're going to keep turning your wheels, trying to reinvent or recreate things, and it's not going to happen. You got to get uncomfortable with being comfortable. That's what 2020 taught me. If I learned nothing else from what was going on with 2020, you got to get uncomfortable with being comfortable. If there are things that you want to see manifested in your life, you got to be willing to take risks. You got to be willing to make mistakes. You've got to be willing to fail. But know at the end of the day, it is making you stronger. It's making you out to be a better person. So go forth, I say, go forth.
Go forth and be great.
Yes.
Yes. So that's pretty much what we feel about in terms of like New Year's goals and things like that. But we can't negate the fact that this is the month of February. And so February, we like to think of it as like the month of love because of Valentine's Day and things like that. But it's also Black History Month.
Yes.
So we tried to like we were dressing the part today, even though we didn't have on no dashikis and nothing like that, but we tried to, kind of dress the part somewhat. But with that being said, like what do you feel, Lakesha, like what does Black history mean to you?
Wow. Man. Black history means like so many things. It's a celebration of our past, a celebration of our present, of our future. our scars, our triumphs, our resiliency as a people. I think back, even in terms of women, seeing the various strives in our communities, in corporate America, in sports, in entertainment that we've been able to make. And it's so exhilarating to see how far we have come as a community, as a nation. But at the same time, I can't negate the fact that there are times where I'm still questioning. There are times where I'm still pondering. I'm still frustrated. I'm still angry. That we still have a long way to go, not only as a nation, but as a collective, as individuals, and things of that nature. So this is just a time to really just love on each other, to celebrate not only our individualism, but what we bring to the table as a community, and using our God-given talents, our strengths, our different skill sets to further, this thing called life ahead. Because I truly believe that Black history is American history. Like, I'm just so in awe of just the number of that would not have come about if it wasn't for an African American woman, man. You have young people, out here doing big things. We did a workshop this past summer with our students about a 14-year-old. I can't remember the city that he's from, but this young man is 14 years old, y'all, and already a millionaire, making T-shirts and sweaters. And he ended up picking up speed on Instagram, and eventually Diddy caught on to him. I think his line is called Spurgio, if I'm correct. I can't think of the young man's name, but like I said, like, just to see us just go further in love and patriotism. And I'm just looking forward to more, to what's to come. So when I think of Black history, that's what I think. Just everything, like I said, that we bring to the table, and everything that we have gone through, but at the same time, knowing that there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. And you said something that was so profound when you mentioned that to you, Black history is American history. And I agree with that. It's almost like that. I think it's the McDonald's ad 365 Black. I don't think of just Black history being just for the month of February. I think of it as a year-round, everyday celebration, because we as Black people, we are doing the daggone thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have accomplished like so much. And when I go back and just do research about Black history, like a lot of the stuff that we know about, that we use in everyday life, I didn't think a lot of this came from Black people, but it did. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that gives me a sense of just pride. The fact that, I come from a heritage that is just able to create all of these necessities and things like that. So to me, Black history just represents like celebrating our accomplishments, our leadership, our determination. And like you were saying before, we have, accomplished a lot and come a long way, but there's still more that we can do to really just better ourselves as a community, and things like that. So I don't know. And I think of myself as being a part of Black history, not trying to be, arrogant or anything like that. But I feel like, I'm accomplishing a lot too. I'm doing the daggone thing too. And so are you. And so is everybody else who is online watching us, speak on this. So I just feel like, I'm just inspired when I think about Black History Month. And it makes me think about, well, what can I do, to contribute? more to things like that. And I feel like us doing this podcast is a great, step in the right direction of doing that, of being, contributing.
I agree. Cuz I agree.
365 Black.
Yes. And it's funny that you mentioned the whole McDonald's commercial, because I remember that there was a time, especially when we were growing up, you didn't necessarily see a whole lot of diversity, on television. For the most part, it was Black and it was white. I mean, that's the area me and Shnequia grew up in. It may have been different for other individuals, but for Thomasville, that was mostly it. It was Black and white. And so now seeing different families being played out on, television, I think McDonald's is one of those companies who's definitely taken the fork and gone ahead, with the mixing of races and things of that nature, and showing more Black families in a more positive light compared to what is usually shown in the media, about us. I'm so happy to see, videos. I just saw a post the other day on LinkedIn about these young guys at college, all of them getting ready to graduate as medical doctors, all African American. And those are stories like you do not necessarily hear about. Like you said, they may not necessarily think it's nothing, big, but I'm just like, man, y'all are doing the doggone thing. Like, you all are breaking curses.
You wanted to say something else. I was saying you wanted to say something else. You caught yourself.
Oh, no. But like I said, they really are. They are doing the doggone thing, and I'm excited. It excites me to see young people, like I said, coming into their own much earlier than a lot of us did. They're learning about finances, financial literacy, entrepreneurship. Like I said, this generation has really taken off with that, and so, like I said, I just look forward to their growth. Like you said, what we're doing, what our audience is doing, collectively and individually, but more so how we going to all impact not only our individual communities, the nation, but even like I said, looking at always becoming better versions of ourselves, because someone's always looking. Somebody's always out there watching you.
Yeah, they're watching. They see you.
They're seeing. So to know that you could have such an impact on an individual, man, like, that's a lot. So yes, happy Black History to everybody.
Gwen had brought up a comment. She was like, did y'all read about the school board member who got upset about the social justice alphabet that a PTO put up to support Black history? The school took the bulletin board down. It made me sad that a PTO who just wanted to support Black History Month had to remove their display. This wasn't in Georgia. No, I didn't hear about that.
I didn't hear about that, Gwen.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. But thank you for sharing that. I'm glad it wasn't in Georgia. Oh.
Shnequia, is there anybody that stands out to you, like when you think of Black history? Like, are there individuals who have influenced you in your life, who you admire, you look up to, regardless of what arena they're kin to you? They're a celebrity, a stranger.
Sure. There's so many. Of course, there's the traditional people that we always name for Black History Month, like, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Madam C.J. Walker, Harriet Tubman, things like that. But if I could go a little bit more modern, and many people who know me knows that I love Michael Jackson. I was so sad when he passed away. Because I was like one of his biggest fans, but he really has done or did a lot for music. And one of the things that stands out to me with him was that, back with his Billie Jean video or whatever, that was the very first video by a Black person that was on MTV. Because back then MTV wasn't airing Black people, you know, they focused on like the rock music and things like that. Yeah. So for him to be able to kind of open the doors for that, I think that is commendable. Like I love that. So he definitely stands out a lot to me. I would also say Rihanna, she stands out to me in terms of her fashion sense, in terms of just being a media mogul, not only with her music, but just the fact that she was able to turn, you know, I think it's, what is it, Fenty? Rihanna Fenty? Not Savage Fenty or something like that. But you know what I'm talking about. The way she was able to just turn that into just this dominating force in fashion. Like, I really love that. I really love that. And the fact that Lauryn Hill, I was such a big fan of her first album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Yeah. The fact that album was the first Black female rapper album to go diamond, which means it sold 10 million copies. I mean, you know, that is just awesome.
Yeah.
That's just awesome to me. So as you notice, like I have a love for music. So a lot of mine dealt with music. So I really just admire those because a lot of their stories are very unique. And even I have to throw in Tyler Perry for me because I feel like he is such a motivational factor for me. I mean, the fact that if you look at his story, where he literally came from like being homeless and, you know, even when he was younger, being, you know, sexually abused and things like that. And the fact that he was able to really become, again, this media mogul where he's doing films and TV shows and all this stuff like that. I mean, that is just awesome to me. Like the fact that perseverance, like he didn't let anything stop him, his hardships. He, in a way, let that motivate him. And I think that really stands out to me. And I try to strive to be like that too. That no matter like whatever my hardships are, like I try to still persevere and be resilient and keep going. So those were mine.
Amen.
What about you?
Let's see. I would say, of course, I really, really, really admire the women in my family, whether they be mature, whether they are young, they're on that cusp of almost over the hill and things of that nature. But just looking at, you know, what they've had to endure, their resiliency to achieve the goals that they have achieved. And so I'm just very, very proud just of the women in my family. And like I said, what they've gone through, but also what they've been able to achieve and what they aspire to do in the future. From a musical stance, I'm a Mary J. Blige fan at heart. I've been following Mary since Mary, you know, she came out with Real Love, you know, anthem. And I just loved her music. I know a lot of her earlier songs, if you listen to them, like I listen to it now as an adult, and it's just like, man, like, you know, the place that she was in that time, there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of sadness, a lot of frustration. Definitely probably some mental health, you know, some anxiety, some depression, probably even some suicidal ideation that she was experiencing given everything that was going on at that time. But once again, like, look at her. Like, Mary still got it going on. She got the body of a 20-year-old. Like, she the only one to me that can wear boots, like these 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch stilettos and not fall. Like, I'll be like, how in the world she be dancing like that on the stage at Essence, and she be getting it. She is getting it. And even as an adult, some of the crap that she has, faced, with everything that she went through with her ex-husband, like she still didn't let that get her down, man. So I love Mary. I root for Mary. That's one of my goals, is one day to make it to go see her perform. So
actually, I have seen her perform. I saw her perform years ago at the Essence Music Festival. She killed it. A lot of people have said that she really can't sing live or whatever, or they don't think she could really sing the best anymore. Period. But I'm a fan of hers too. "Be Happy" is my favorite song by her.
Mantra.
I mean, that and like the song "My Life."
Woo!
Those are like, and actually they're on the same album. Those songs. But yeah, she is killing it.
Yeah,
still is.
Thank you, Auntie.
You're on. But and actually, she's right now. I think she's on a TV show, The Power. Power. So she's getting into acting and whatnot. So she's doing it.
She is. So, like I said, from a musical standpoint, it would be Mary. I think also I want to give some shout outs to some people here in the Big Bend region. I'm really, really big on the performing arts. I mean, I majored in music. I've been singing my whole life in the choir. So for those of you all, if you ever get the opportunity to come to Tallahassee, and this, that, and the third, you all really need to check out. We have two great musical troupes. One by the name of Tallahassee Nights Live. Some of you all may have had the opportunity to take in a show of theirs. Man, when I tell you, these are local artists. They're musicians, they're instrumentalists. Some of them, write poetry. But when I tell you their creative skills are off of the radar, these are some very talented, some very special individuals. So like I said, you ever get the opportunity to come to Tallahassee, I know they've been doing some virtual events, but I want to say they're going to get back to doing some in-person events over the next couple of months. Several of these artists have written albums. One of the artists actually was on American Idol several seasons back, auditioning. And this is when J-Lo was on. And she loved him. I want to say his name was Big Rob. So shout out to Big Rob and everything that the troupe in Tallahassee Nights Live is doing. Another shout out I have to give is to our Black on Black Rhyme troupe. Here in Tallahassee, once again, another performing arts poetry troupe. They do the poetry slams, the poetry drive-bys, and things of that nature. I've taken my students to several of their shows, and they love it. When I tell you that these women and men, and it's open for everybody, but the majority of the artists are African-American. The founder, Keith Rogers, is African-American. He's a resident of Tallahassee. But when I'm telling you, once again, their creative skills are just off the radar, and how they can, take everyday writing and just jar you with, just what comes out of their mouths, and just, take your thinking, your whole mind frame into another stratosphere. It just blows. It just blows my mind. So no offense to, none of the well-known artists and things of that nature, but I definitely believe in giving props to those who are around us. And like I said, we got a lot of talented individuals in this area who are doing great things for the community. One thing that I loved about Michael Jackson, Shnequia, that you about Mike, is not only was he a great musician, he was big at giving back onto others. I want to say he still holds like the record in the Guinness World Book of Records for being like the biggest I can't even say the word.
Philanthropist.
Yeah. So like I said, although he was a great artist and he is definitely missed, we still sporting the gloves.
Oh yes.
Moonwalking. I mean, you see inspiration in artists today, the Chris Browns,
The ushers, yeah.
You still see little trinkets of him sprinkled throughout in our artistry. But like I said, I love the fact that not only did he give of his music, but more so, he gave of himself.
Right. Also, got a comment from Randy. Random side note: wow, I love Auntie Mary, but are those moves really dancing? You know what? Let her have her dance moves. Let her have it.
Random side. She be cutting the rug though. She be cutting the rug. She be cutting the rug. I give her that. Like I said, my hat's out to her because I couldn't do it in them boots. She be getting it. So my hat's out to her.
Yeah, she be doing it. She's killing it. So I need to see her in the verses at some point.
Most definitely.
If that's what you call it. Yes, that is what you call it. I cannot. Anyway. So anything else about Black history?
I mean, we could talk about Black history.
Yeah, we could. We really could.
Be an episode really within itself, to be honest with you. There's so many different facets that you could break it, down into. We could, like I said, we could be here not only for days, you could be here for months. You could probably create an entire season, honestly, just centered around Black History Month.
You could.
That's true. Just how much wealth of information there is out there when it comes to us.
That's true. Yeah, we really could talk all night and all day about this, but we are really getting along in this episode, so we might want to go ahead and try to summarize everything up because we don't want to hold people too long or whatever, because we want to be respectful of people's time and everything like that. But is there any final thoughts that you want to share, Lakesha? Before we move on?
Stay tuned. We have got a lot of good stuff in the works in the next couple of months for you all, and just looking at ways not only to grow our channel, but also to get more involvement out of you all too, and just different takes on discussions and conversations that we will be having. So you all stay in the know. Make sure if you have not liked, shared, or subscribed to our YouTube and our Facebook, as well as our Instagram page, that you do so. And also feel free to, for those of you out there don't like to necessarily sit and watch. My father is one of those individuals. He tells me all the time, I just rather listen to you all. Follow us on your major podcast platforms as well. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, and we literally are on all major audio podcast platforms. So wherever you like to listen to your podcast, you can find us on there. And also, I want to let y'all know, we have a website that makes it so much easier for you all to be able to go to our different social media platforms and the podcast platforms. It's called linktr.ee/Insight Combo WSL. It's basically in the description of this video episode. So, like I said, that makes it so much easier for y'all to be able to follow us. And definitely make sure that, like Lakesha said, like, share, follow, subscribe, comment. Please, do this for us because, we have goals that we want to achieve, and we want to really reach as many people as we can with this podcast. And we can't do that without your help. So definitely make sure you do that. Also, it's very important also that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because there may be some things that we may have on YouTube exclusively. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to make sure that you really do be in the know of what's going on. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also that we are going to do things a little bit differently this season. We're still going to have our live episodes where we're interacting with you all, but we're going to do some pre-recorded episodes as well. But we'll definitely let you know whenever episodes are live, so that way you can, be a part of it and things like that. Definitely make sure that you're following us on, like I said, Facebook and Instagram. Our handle is Insight Combo WSL. Very simple to follow. Also, we haven't really talked about our email address a lot, but you can also email us at insightfulconversations37@gmail.com. If you want to just ask us any questions, or if you want to just let us know how you're doing and things like that. We do want, I know we had talked about this, Lakesha, about doing something called What's Your Insightful Moment?
Yes.
So just a little bit about that, that's something that y'all all can participate in. You can DM us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at the email address that I gave you, and just let us know like what your insightful moment was for the week or for that day or whatever have you. And then, you can send it to us, and if you would like, we can share it on our episode and definitely acknowledge you and things like that. So it's called Insightful Moment. So like I said, you can email us that, or you can DM us on our social media platforms. And that's pretty much all I have. Oh, like I said, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube right now and you haven't liked or subscribed to the channel, do that right now as you're on as you're watching right now. And like I said, feel free to leave comments too. That's fine as well. And that's pretty much all I had. Anything else for you?
That's it. Thank you all for taking time out to join us on this evening. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after next. So we're on Tuesday now. Every other Tuesday. That's when you can expect to see an episode. All right. And till the next time, we see you later. We wish you love and peace, and be safe out there and continue to be great. Peace, y'all.
Y'all take care.
Bye.